He's currently the greatest bowler on the planet, Jason Belmonte. 2 weeks ago, he won his third consecutive USBC Masters. And last week, he won his second straight Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions. Today, Belmonte is back, trying to score yet another title, this time in the PBA Players Championship.
Welcome to the beautiful and newly renovated Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. This sold-out crowd is ready for the stepladder finals of the PBA Players Championship. Today's finalists, top 5 out of 88 competitors. Parker Bohn III with Ronnie Russell, Jason Belmonte, Norm Duke, and Tom Daugherty. And hello again, everyone. Mike Jakubowski alongside PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson. Kimberly Pressler is laneside today. Bookend Hall of Famers at the top and bottom rungs of this stepladder. Parker Bohn, the tournament leader. Norm Duke will face Tom Daugherty in the opening match. Randy, it sets up as a classic old school versus new school battle.
And the old school you're referring to, Mike, is tournament leader Parker Bohn III, our only southpaw on today's telecast, and Norm Duke, who's featured in our opening match. There's the 33-time titleist. There's the 37-time titleist. But mixed in between these two players is power personified, spearheaded by the two-handed power sensation, Jason Belmonte. In order for Norm Duke to somehow weave his way through the turbulence created by the power players on today's telecast, he'll have to do so from the extreme outside part of the lane. And if he is successful, Mike J., well, we could maybe see an old school finale, Bohn versus Duke.
Hall of Fame battle for the ages. Right now, we will take a look at our stepladder as Tom Daugherty will face Norm Duke in the opening match. Belmonte will get the winner. Ronnie Russell in the semifinal. Tournament leader Parker Bohn III will get the survivor in the championship match. Kimberly Pressler is with Norm Duke.
Thanks, guys. Norm, it's good to have you back on the show. Are you going to be able to get through all these power players in order to get against that final match against Parker Bohn?
Well, you know, I'd like to be in the lead so I wouldn't have to, but I didn't accomplish that. So the only way to win the tournament is to beat everybody. That's the plan. But like you said, they're power players. They're young. They're great. And I'm going to have to be great as well.
Well, we look forward to that. Guys, back to you.
Competing on the Mark Roth oil pattern. Length is 46 feet. And featured in blue today.
It really offered the players multiple angles this week, and we're going to see it on today's telecast. Norm Duke and Parker Bohn III, again, old school. They did it from the extreme outside part of the lane on both sides. Well, that left a lot of room for the power players to move in and do their thing. I really like this pattern because it affords all styles and all different types of games. You know, and one of the interesting things that we heard from our finalists when we were interviewing them is the fact that Norm Duke said the reason why he made the telecast today was because he was able to play the extreme outside part of the lane.
Opening shot from Daugherty. 10-pin.
And there's the 46-foot oil pattern right in front of you. You can see the power player in Tom Daugherty, and you can see just how straight he's going, that down and in with that slight back-end ball reaction. Good opening shot, but that's a friendly ringing 10.
Across the ocean blue and a pickup of the 10-pin for Daugherty. The number 5 seed elects to begin the match on the left lane. And now here's our first look today at Hall of Famer Norm Duke. 37 lifetime titles, tied for third on the all-time list with Pete Weber.
Outside part of the lane for Duke. Light hit, mixing strike.
He made a fortune the last 6 or 7 years on tour playing that extreme outside part of the lane with the 16-pound ball and just really giving it the love touch at the bottom of the swing, not doing a whole lot to it, letting the lane take it to the pocket. And right there you can see the great pin carry, a lot of that attributed to the 16-pound bowling ball.
99 and 79 in his television appearances. And he packs that one double.
Yeah, there's the old frozen rope to the 1-3. Just a little bit inside a target, but his hand underneath the back of the ball, and the ball just freezes itself right in front of the head pin. You can see that he's about 5 to 6 boards right of Tom Daugherty, and that's called 10 in the pit.
Hack hit for Tom Daugherty on a strike. All-time classic moment. Tom Daugherty bowls 100 and gets out of the way for Mika Koivuniemi. Tom Daugherty hit a ball with the pin on every shot in one of the more memorable moments, the largest margin of victory ever. And Tom Daugherty defeating Oscar Palermo in 2012 at the World Series of Bowling Scorpion for his first title.
Great shot there. Mike J, he said a lot of people remember him for bowling the 100 game. What I remember most about that show was how eloquently Tom handled the entire situation.
He hears about it all the time. He handled it so great, and he owned it. And it's a moment more now that's more of a highlight for him as he finished third in that Tournament of Champions. And now a look at Norm's arsenal.
And I think this is very interesting in the fact that Norm's using a less aggressive bowling ball on a very slick oil pattern.
And the crowd oohs. Duke and a strike. Randy, how about a track tech talk with Norm?
Well, and we talked about it at the Open. Once again, this is old school where you see the players going really straight, pretty much that down and in type of reaction with very little back end reaction. I mean, that's old school. And the interesting thing about it is he's doing it with a non-aggressive bowling ball. Normally you would think long oil, heavy oil, strong equipment. Didn't work, trying to go straight.
Fourth frame for Duke. 6 around the 10, no messenger.
Folks, I think we're in for some good scores today because the players haven't missed flush yet. The pins are flying everywhere. The only thing the players have left is 2 ring and 10s. Great shot here by Norm Duke. Look at this classic style that's withstood the test of time. I think what's great about Norm is all he needs is a little bit of a chance, a little bit of angle from the outside part of the lane, and he can still compete out here. He told us the only thing that he struggles with is moving in with the big bangers, the high rev guys, because he just can't throw it hard enough. He can't generate enough ball speed. He can generate enough hand to get the ball to go around the corner, but not enough speed to go with it.
Norm mentioning that he has a couple of ways to combat and minimize the power of the revs with his strategy and execution. Now Daugherty up 4th frame.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, it's high, 3-6-10.
Damn it, Tommy.
Yeah, he got it left and got on top of it, got around the side of the
Stop
ball
it.
a little bit. That's usually what happens when the timing gets early. The ball gets to the bottom of the downswing a little too quickly, and the hand goes around early to save it.
Good cover on the 3-6-10, and Tom mentioning that the PBA tour structure allows him to maintain a balance with his life and his pro shops. And Tom knows his equipment, Randy.
He's using the same bowling ball that Norm's using. It looks like Tom's using a little bit more surface, though.
owns and operates the Hall of Fame Pro Shop. He can drill them, he can throw them. Fifth frame. Oh, 9-pin.
Well, that's a great shot. You're going to see the bowling ball go right past the 9-pin. Watch this. It goes right through the 1-3 and then right by the 9. Sometimes power can be a detriment, and it was right there. Not enough deflection for the ball to carry that 9-pin.
Good cover for Tom Daugherty. Norm Duke leads by 13 pins here, fifth frame. Randy, Norm has the unbelievable ability to will himself, not only all the technical knowledge and the experience, but he has this extra will to win.
Well, I think there's a lot of players out here that have that, and I think that when Norm knows that he has a chance, he's going to get there.
Light hit, doesn't shake the 7.
You know, coming into this tournament, it only took Norm a couple of shots in practice session on practice day to realize that he had a legitimate chance to win this tournament. And I promise you that there's other weeks where he knows he doesn't have a chance because of the lack of power. It's like riding a bike, Mike. Get back into that zone fairly quickly.
The two-time PBA Player of the Year picks up the spare. Norm winning back in '94 and 2000. And he's got a 12-pin advantage halfway in our opening match, PBA Players Championship. History on the line today. Norm currently tied with Pete Weber, would occupy third place by himself. If Parker Bohn would win today, he would join Mark Roth at 34.
Parker currently in 6th all time. But like the late, great Dick Weber once said, winning never gets old. And nobody knows that better than Norm Duke and Parker Bohn III. 70 titles between the two.
And the fire in the eyes. Sixth frame. High maximum penalty. 4-6-7.
Oh, shot, Norm. Great shot, great shot.
Well, you heard him. He liked it. And this ball grabs early and then goes right through the face, and he pays for it. He's going to have to move. Probably 1 and 1 left. He's going to keep his direction the same, but he's got to find a little bit more oil.
Open frame for Norm Duke. Virtual even match. When we return to Woodland Bowl, Tom Daugherty holds a 2-pin advantage. More of our opening match when we return to the PBA Players Championship. The PBA Players Championship is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. By Track Bowling, make the smart move. By AMF, roll this way. And by Motive Bowling, get motivated. Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana, site of the stepladder finals of the PBA Players Championship. Qualifying in match play taking place at AMF Bolero in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Let's look at the extra frame tournament highlights. This is the position round battle between 1 and 2.
And Parker Bohn takes down Ronnie Russell 270 to 220. But the big story was what Parker Bohn did the last 8 games of match play when he averaged 262 and didn't lose a game.
Parker Bohn, tournament leader, displacing Ronnie Russell. Tom Daugherty up in the 10th frame.
Yeah, and an ugly break right here. No right-hander or left-hander ever wants to see a pocket 7-10 split.
Daugherty goes to the number 5 seed, and there's your top 5 for the PBA Players Championship. Look at qualifying averages, 242 plus for tournament leader Parker Bohn III
and Tom Daugherty, just missing DJ Archer, Michael Haugen Jr., and Walter Ray Williams Jr. Opening match rolls on. The winner here gets Jason Belmonte next on the stepladder. Daugherty working on a spare 6th frame. Does that little kick with his foot, normally a good sign.
Yeah, anytime you see that foot tap the approach, Tom likes the shot out of his hand, and with good reason. That was perfect.
Other finishers. Rhino Page, 9th. Wes Malott, top 10 finish. Chris Barnes, Scott Norton, Dom Barrett, Dan McClellan, and Tom Smallwood, top 15 in the players. On down to 24th, Lacaz, Dave Wadka, Dick Allen, Connor Pickford, another top 24. Daugherty looking to double in the 7th. Yeah!
And that's what you do when an opponent gives you an opening. You take advantage of it, and Tom Daugherty did it beautifully. You can see that it looks like he's migrated slightly towards the center part of the lane, but still keeping his angles very straight through the front part. That's what makes these power players so difficult nowadays to handle, is they're able to go straight when they want to. The good ones can.
Pocket hit, strike for Duke. He trails by 12 strikes after the open frame.
Norm, a good arrow to the right of where Tom Daugherty's playing. But again, on a 46-foot oil pattern, you can't give a lot of the pocket away. You have to play fairly straight. And, well, there hasn't been too many better than this guy over the years, except maybe one other by the name of Walter Ray.
Norm looking to double to cut into the lead. High flush, splits the 8 and the 9.
Well, at age 50, Norm Duke, well, he goes out on the senior tour, and it's like printing money, but he's showing you right here, folks, I can still get it done on the young man's tour. Look at that pose at the foul line, and just a magnificent shot of that bowling ball taking out all 10.
8th frame for Daugherty. Nice move at the back end of that pattern, and 10 back.
Normally what you see from players that have success on a longer pattern is keeping their hand behind the bowling ball and rolling it more end over end to control the down lane reaction off of the end of the oil pattern. Tom Daugherty did that perfectly there. That's why you see the ball kind of start to go left and then check. Some call it roll out. The ball just kind of goes left and kind of settles right there.
Daugherty making his first TV finals appearance outside of Las Vegas. First career TV finals appearance came in the 2011 PBA Tournament of Champions we saw earlier.
I like the facial fescue that Tom is sporting. 3-1 record on television. The 100 game that he bowled against Mika. Mika shot 299 that day, and well, he came back nicely from that, winning the next time out.
Turkey working.
Oh,
ring 10.
Nice shot, nice pitch there. He wanted it, and he knows exactly what the score is, and if you give a guy like Norm Duke enough time, well, Norm Duke might just step up and close the door on him. Norm Duke can strike out to shoot 244. Norm could strike out, shoot 244 now, and he could shut out Tom Daugherty.
Duke in position. He's got a double working, fate in his own hands. Belmonte waits next for the winner. Foundation for Duke.
Yeah, it was just a little soft entering the pocket, leaving that flat 10. And Norm really needed that one in the 9th, because if he strikes there and gets the first hit, He's in the 230s. He could have forced Daugherty to double. Well, now the best Norm can shoot is 223. Tom Daugherty with a strike spare shoots 225. Well, I remember back in the mid-90s bowling in Peoria, Illinois, Norm Duke just hooking the entire lane, was just going coast to coast, had 3 300s in a row over two separate qualifying blocks. I qualified second for that event. Norm, well, he beat me by over 400. I was 300 in front of third, and we used to joke if I didn't bowl that event, he would have led the tournament by 700 pins. Boy, how times have changed.
10th frame. Light, and the 7-pin stands.
Wow.
Well, you know, he's going to look back on this game and say, you know, it's that split that I left on the left lane in the 6th frame that may have been the undoing, because if he strikes there, he's in the 230s. He's going to give him the spare here. He can shoot 212. That'll force Tom Daugherty to get 9 on the first ball to lock it up.
Coming up next, PBA Hall of Famer Marshall Holman will join us in the booth and call some action.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Duke adding up the numbers and doesn't like what he sees. Fill ball here for 212.
Of course, that hit carries now when he needed it. In the 9th and 10th frame. 212 for Norm Duke. Daugherty needs 9 on the first ball, and he'll move on. Anything less, Norm still has a chance. If he splits, big split here, and doesn't convert, well, Norm will move on. Well, that looked really good out of his hand. Great job by Tom Daugherty. He is going to advance. One of the old schoolers eliminated, Mike J.
Tom Daugherty and Jason Belmonte coming up next. Two different styles. Daugherty versus Belmonte next at the PBA Players Championship from Indy. And the PBA Players Championship returning to Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. Long history with the PBA and the great bowling city of Indy. Stepladder update. Tom Daugherty moves up, and he will face Jason Belmonte in our second matchup. Mike Jakubowski, as we go 3 wide like they do at Indy, with 2 Hall of Famers, Marshall Holman and Randy Peterson. Marshall, so great to see you. Welcome to Indianapolis. Interesting match coming up. I know that you've gotten to see a little bit of Jason Belmonte in action.
Oh, absolutely, Mike. And as far as I'm concerned, the most compelling man in bowling. Whether you're a fan of his or not a fan of his, he is fun to watch, and I'm glad I get to watch him bowl this game. He's just he does things with the ball that I can't even fathom, and that's what makes it interesting.
I think you're right, Marshall. And you know, I was a huge fan of yours growing up. You were one of the guys that I idolized and I tried to emulate, even though our styles are completely different. I loved watching you because you were unique. You had this power game in a stroker's body, and that's the thing that I think is so intriguing about Jason Belmonte. He does something finally in our sport that I can watch and say, you know, I can't do that.
Absolutely, it's quite extraordinary, and he knows he's good, and the opposition knows he's good, and that gives him a little bit of advantage when he bowls anyone.
Marshall, as we all emulated you, trying to play like you. There's now a legion of players trying to throw the ball like Jason Belmonte.
It makes perfect sense. If I'm a young kid right now and I'm watching Pro Bowlers Tour, I want my ball to look like Jason Belmonte's.
Coming up next, we will have Tom Daugherty taking on Jason Belmonte, a battle of revs. To advance on the step ladder. Come on back, PBA Players Championship continues. Time now for the Columbia 300 fun fact, including last week's Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions. Woodland Bowl has hosted 10 PBA major championships, including 3 Touring Players Championships in the early 90s. What a run right now for Jason Belmonte. 2 weeks ago, he became the first person to ever win 3 consecutive USBC Masters.
The lanes were impossible, and he still got it done.
And it was Belmonte again last week, successfully defending his title in the Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions, defeating #1 seed Rhino Page for the 5th major of his career.
Kimberly Pressler is laneside with Belmonte.
Thanks, Mike. Jason, you are on ESPN again in another final. In your wildest dreams, did you ever think that you would be repeatedly winning titles and majors?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, this was my dream, and I've wanted to do this my whole life. I've dedicated my whole life to being here and to winning. So you have to believe it in yourself. Now that's actually happened, it's a bit of a quick slap me, make sure it's all real.
Happily. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks so much for your time.
No worries,
and guys, back to you in the booth.
Interesting matchup, Jason Belmonte and Tom Daugherty. 2 different ways of generating power.
And both using just the fingers.
It was interesting in talking with Tom Daugherty. I asked him, I said, Tom, do you ever watch or study Jason Belmonte's game? And he says, yes, all the time. He says, but the one thing I can't do that he can is throw it with a lot of ball speed.
Yeah, that's really extraordinary how he gets it down the lane so fast. Daugherty, great start with the strike up. And I tell you what, if I'm bowling Jason Belmonte, I better make a lot of good shots.
Yeah.
Here's the 2-time PBA Player of the Year and reigning, just 31 years old, out of Orange, New South Wales, Australia. Little different twist on the 2 game. Things up.
Interesting when you interview the other players, and it seems like 99% of them all mention Jason Belmonte somewhere throughout the interview, whether it's, well, you know, I was following Jason Belmonte, so I had to make sure that I was making the moves sooner. My last game of qualifying, I went to the pair he started on, so I knew that they would be a little bit drier. I always want to try to play left or right of him, so on and so forth. He's in everybody's head out here.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Second frame. Explosive mixer.
And then you take that power, and then you have him lofting 6th arrow. Now, you know, back in our day, Marshall, rarely did we ever get into 6th arrow. We got into 5th arrow every now and then, and boy, you better have had some hand to get that weak 10 out. Well, now imagine going up against this guy, who, when he's lofting 6th arrow, his bowling ball still hits 5 times harder than yours and mine ever did.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad I'm not.
All strikes, second frame for Daugherty. 3rd arrow. Perfect result.
A great answer from Daugherty, and it actually looks as if Belmonte is kind of throwing moderate as far as the explosiveness off his hand. He's giving it the full Belmonte.
Yeah, he's not in the full Belmonte or the full Monte yet.
Tom Daugherty owns 7 PBA regional titles.
You know what's interesting though is he is sporting the Belmonte facial fescue. And I'm wondering if that's to somehow try to empower him a little bit more or something. I don't know.
I think not.
Could be a bowling playoff beard.
But it's interesting that Daugherty's up and we're still talking about Belmonte. Daugherty with a chance to take a 10-pin lead. And unlike Norm Duke, who didn't strike when he backed off, Daugherty does.
Kimberly Pressler is laneside with Norm Duke.
Thanks, guys. Norm, how heartbreaking was it to see that 7-pin left standing in the 10th for you?
Well, it's pretty heartbreaking. I thought I saw it fall, but then it stood back up kind of, and that was the end of it for me. But, you know, the big shot was the 7 split that I left it just wide open the door. And, you know, I like the shot off my hand. Sometimes that's all you can do is throw it good off your hand, but sometimes you just want it back even so.
How would you rate your experience this week?
Oh, I've had a blast this week. I've always enjoyed Ken Howard, our manager here at Woodland Bowl, and we've always enjoyed Indianapolis, so it was a good time.
Well, we look forward to having you on the show again sometime soon. Norm, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Back to you guys.
Jason Belmonte with the first non-strike, and he leaves the 2 and the 4.
A little surprising there, Marshall, that he went light with that shot. It looks like he's just a little bit left of Tom Daugherty, and you know that could bode well for Belmo, and it could be a problem for Tom Daugherty. If Daugherty gets caught up in transition and doesn't see it before it happens, it could prove disastrous.
It happens so fast in today's game. It's you know, I'm not as much of a student of the game today as I was many years back, but I do know that these balls, they send that oil all over the place in a hurry, and when it's time to make a move, you better jump zones.
And we saw his arsenal using a rocket as well. I think the other scary facet of these power players nowadays is that they've learned how to throw the ball straighter, keeping their lines very tight in front of them, and so they've proved to be lethal on just about every oil pattern.
Yeah, I think about the only thing I don't think Belmo probably could do is go, you know, up the gutter.
Seen him do it with plastic. That's about the only time I've ever seen him do it.
Front 3 for Daugherty, 4th frame. Six kicks the 10.
He actually did do it with a plastic ball in a Chris Paul event and struck out in the 10th frame to beat Norm Duke and his partner. Tom Daugherty right now, though, is just making great quality shots. He's taking advantage of his opponent's openings. He did that against Norm in the first match, and that's just a great shot, 10 in the pit. A little love tap from the 6 going around the 10 and catches just enough of it.
He's thanking someone above. He was looking skyward after that shot.
Daugherty already with 100. 5th frame, 4-bagger working. Make it 5. Belmonte, quick 32-pin advantage for Daugherty now, but a double can cut into that. 5th frame. About an arrow wider than Daugherty and just a bit high, 4-pin.
Can't get it that far right that early.
Well, he didn't like it.
No, it's interesting to you don't see Belmo struggle that often, but he's a little bit trapped right now.
Said he couldn't get it that far right that early.
Roll Tech tournament stats. 56 of 61 and another single pin conversion for Belmonte, but trails halfway home here. Trails by 32. Ronnie Russell gets the winner in the semifinal next.
Marshall, in all your television experiences, when you were in this situation where your opponent starts with the front 5 and you're doing what Jason Belmonte's doing, which is double, 8 spare strike, 9 spare, are you now thinking, all right, I have to take this off the sheet to have a chance to win?
I would think so, yeah. And kind of hoping that that Daugherty will give him a break somewhere, but
strike for Belmonte in the 6th.
Well, lots more action to come. Jason Belmonte looking to get back into this match. Hey, when we come back, I'm going to tell you probably the funniest story that I ever heard involving Jason Belmonte and Norm Duke. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Woodland Bowl. Marshall Holman, you have your own event coming.
Yeah, next Sunday at 1 Eastern on the PBA Tour is back here in Indianapolis for the Mark Roth Marshall Holman PBA Doubles Championship. That's going to be great.
Defending champs Norm Duke and Wes Millant defend their title, and they'll try that next Sunday at 1 on ESPN. The tallest and the smallest. Who was the tallest and the biggest back in the?
It was Big Steve Cook, no doubt about it. And Norm's been on tour forever, so it was Norm back then too.
Well, Steve Cook's doubles partner back then was Mike Albee, brother-in-law Mike Albee, and Mike wasn't exactly the tallest guy, but he was much taller than Norm Duke.
Already on 5 in a row. He makes it 6. So what's that? You were telling some kind of a story about Belmonte and Duke?
Well, yeah, so I was going to save it for the next time Belmonte was up. I wanted to tell you that, Tom Daugherty, I didn't want to jinx this part of it, but Tom Daugherty's got the front 6. He had back-to-back 300s in this event.
Wow.
And multiple 800 series. He was a striking machine.
It was very, very high scoring.
Yeah, so right after this shot, when Belmo gets up on the right lane, I'll tell you that story.
I'm looking forward to it.
TD looking to step on the gas, 7th frame.
God.
Light, 4-8.
Terrible.
Go ahead, say it.
Well, there's the opportunity because not only doesn't he strike, but he leaves a difficult spare to pick up. This ball just doesn't pick up the roll, hits light, and now he leaves the 4 and the 8. And anytime there are multiple ways to miss something, it can be trouble. So
it almost looked like the ball out of his hand had 0 rotation. I know he wants to get his hand underneath it, but it almost looked like it was too flat.
Let's see if he can pick up the spare. That's a relief right there.
Yeah.
That's not a fun thing to shoot.
I think Tom Daugherty's spare shooting is a little underrated, though. The last time we saw him when he won, he actually, I think, made the 210 more than once on that telecast.
Wow.
And that was your hammer tough spare replay. Daugherty up by 40, but Belmo can cut that in half with strikes in the 7th and 8th.
It's must strike time.
10.
Terrible shot.
And how often do you see his ball leave a weak 10? So back in 2007, Jason Belmonte gets to bowl Norm Duke in match play for the very first time. It's the best 4 out of 7 games. Norm's sicker than a dog. And here at beautiful Woodland Bowl, they have those beautiful couches in the settee area. And Jason gets up and strikes out in the 4th game to tie the match 2-2. And looks back, and Norm is asleep. Hang on, it gets better. Jason goes up and nudges Norm and says, "Hey, mate, wake up." And Norm kind of raises up, and Jason looks at him and says, "Mate, don't die on me. I've been waiting for this match my entire life." Norm gets up, goes in and gets an energy drink, comes back out, and proceeds to throw the next 23 out of 24 to win the match 4-2.
Whoa. That is a good story. Don't die on me, mate.
Don't die on me, mate. I've been waiting for this match my whole life.
238 max score for Belmonte, 8th frame. High flush.
It's not often that you see Belmonte make bad shots or questionable shots to him. Even though those 2 shots hit the pocket, it's not what he's used to.
He didn't like him, and he did the analysis for us. I mean, he told us that he was not, you can't get the ball that far out that quick, and that wasn't a good shot.
Eighth frame for Daugherty. That's high, and he crumbles the 4-9.
A nice little break in the 4-9 to crumble down like that. All he needs to do is just mark frames. If he can spare in the 9th and 10th, there's no way he loses.
Yeah, nice little break here. Watch the 4 and the 9 go last. Never a bad thing when you trip a 4 and the 9 goes with it when you're right-handed. .278 max for Tom Daugherty. .238 max for Jason Belmonte.
Jason needs huge help. He needs a lot of help from Daugherty.
Yeah, he's got to have something the equivalent of a Big Four Greek church right here.
And I'm sure Daugherty knows all he needs to do is just make a quality shot here where you get nothing less than 9.
Foundation frame. High again, and just the 4-pin.
And lucky again.
Now, how much of that shot there was influenced by the shot in the 7th frame when he went light?
Sure, it's a natural reaction. You need to go light one shot, you come back in the same lane. Gosh, I don't want to lose to the right again, and you pull a little bit. Plus the nerves of bowling against someone of Belmonte's great ability, that has something to do with it too. It's no problem making the spare. Beating Jason Belmonte, it's a little bit extra than just beating another one of the great touring players.
The weakest of the one. Because, I mean, they were all good.
Yeah, that's fine.
The 7th frame was bad, but the 6th frame
I
coming
agree.
high.
I agree.
Belmonte has to strike out to force Daugherty to mark in the 10th frame.
Daugherty conferring with Tour Rep Tim Mack.
So you can confer with your rep during a game?
Absolutely.
Messenger gets the 10.
Now that's more Belmonte-esque.
Yes. Not the weak 10. Not the weak 10.
Here's today's Barbasol close shave of the day, and the headpin razors the 10.
I used to watch Marshall Holman do this all the time. The only difference, when Marshall did it, the headpin moved across the pin deck just a little bit slower than Belmonte's.
You would think, yeah.
Just a little bit, though.
Yeah.
Come on, you know that you slapped it out better than anybody when you got one of those messengers coming across.
I got a lot more excited than Belmonte gets, but...
Well, because it wasn't an everyday occurrence back then.
Right. Well, if with one more, he can force Daugherty to make a good shot in the 10th frame, and anything can happen.
And he's doing a smart thing right now. He's taking his time. He's not rushing the 9th or 10th frame. The longer his opponent sits, the more time that opponent has to sit and think.
Perfect, yeah. If I am Tom Daugherty, I'd be thinking, well, it sure would be nice if he doesn't strike here.
Come on.
10.
There's a sigh of relief. And
I think I should go all the way to the weak one.
It's upside down. Now I can read it. What does it say? Blomo? Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
well, it's a tough loss, and he's a good sport about it.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone but that guy.
Good stuff.
I remember the day when there was a player out here you either really liked or you really didn't like. What was his name?
And the fans used to exercise their free
Oh,
speech.
yeah, they got on me pretty good, but I asked for it at times, so it was all good.
It was a
Marshall
pleasure.
Holman, thank
It was
you.
a pleasure doing business with you once again, my friend.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Randy. A lot of fun.
Tom Daugherty advances. Will face Ronnie Russell in the semifinal when the PBA Tour on ESPN returns to Woodland Bowl.
The PBA Players Championship is brought to you by Barbasol. Life is full of close shaves. Make sure your close shave is a Barbasol close shave. By 900 Global. Performance for your game. By HotelPlanner.com. The best place to book hotel rooms. Best rooms, best rate. Guaranteed. And by Ebonite. Bowl it forward.
The PBA Players Championship rolls on in Indianapolis. Now you can outfit yourself like the pros with official PBA jerseys that are available exclusively at PBA.com. The jerseys are made from high-performance fabric and can be customized for each person or team. Head to PBA.com today and click on the custom jersey link to get started. It's time for the Ebonite flashback at the 1994 Touring Players Championship right here at Woodland Bowl.
Wow, what a great shot of the good old Butch Soper, man. I remember those days, but who can forget what Walter Ray used to do back in the day with that red ball of 10?
Final score, Walter Ray Williams Jr., 259, Butch Soper, 206. The title was the second of the year for Williams, and more importantly, was the first major of his Hall of Fame career. And Mike Jakubowski with PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson as we roll on the stepladder. Tom Daugherty, a winner in match 1. Match 2 advancing to face Ronnie Russell in the semifinal. And Randy, very interesting. Daugherty wins the first 2 matches. What are you seeing from your chair?
Well, I don't think the scores are quite as high as I thought they would be. And quite honestly, I wasn't sure Tom Daugherty could make his way through those 2 Titans. Norm Duke is so tremendously great from the soft hand outside extreme part of the lane. And we all know the force that Jason Belmonte is. Right now, Tom Daugherty's got another big task at hand because he's going to take on hometown favorite Ronnie Russell. This guy brought a lot of folks and a lot of fans with him, and this place is about to get a rockin'.
And a lot of energy. The country boy, Ronnie Russell, in the semifinal. Tangles with Tom Daugherty. Semifinal when we return to Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis. PBA Players Championship. The PBA Players Championship rolls on at Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. Time now for the semifinal match. Tom Daugherty faces Ronnie Russell, who is standing by with Kimberly Pressler.
Thanks, Mike. Ronnie, you've been pretty hot as of late. You've made quite a few different shows. Where did you find the confidence that's propelled you into this recent success?
I just believed in myself and went with it, and good things have been happening. I'm just trying to roll the tide.
Well, you are here in front of your hometown crowd. You have more than 60 people cheering you on. Are you a bit nervous about that? Does it make you more nervous?
I think it makes me more excited to throw a couple more strikes.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing that. Good luck to you today.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
And the hometown has turned out for Ronnie Russell from nearby Marion, Indiana. Tom Daugherty will begin the match on the left lane, semifinal. The winner will face Parker Bohn III for the PBA Players Championship title. Opening shot. A little deeper inside. Mixing and a swishing 7-10.
Well, we saw him do that in the highlight reel from extra frame during the position round match, and once again the 7-10 split stands up and bites Tom Daugherty, but it's in the first frame and not when he needed a mark, say, in the 10th frame.
Peaks the head of the 10 out, but open frame.
7-10 split's only been made 3 times in the history of the PBA Tour on television.
And now Ronnie Russell, 2-time PBA Tour titleist, 35 years old. In front of the hometown crowd.
Powerful strike and powerful response.
I like what I see early on because a little softer ball speed, a little bit more axis rotation, and Ronnie Russell's using a little bit more angle. The other thing I really like about Ronnie Russell is the fact that he wastes little or no time. Once he puts his hand in the bowling ball, he's off to the races. I like that. No paralysis through overanalysis that way.
Russell, first team All-American at Vincennes University back in 2002 and 3. 7th pin.
Good shot, not so good break there, but all he needs to do is get his feet underneath him, make some quality shots, and then start stringing strikes. I spoke to Ronnie's dad, Tom, earlier before the start of the telecast, and I said, Tom, you know, your boy's really turned it around. He's bowling really well. He says, yeah, he's got his head on straight.
Ronnie's saying it's been 4 shows since the last win. I feel that I need to win. Just getting there just isn't the goal anymore. Well, Ronnie is here in the semifinal, and he's got an early lead against Daugherty, second frame. Messenger gets the 10.
Tommy's going over to grab another bowling ball, the same bowling ball he's using, probably different layout, obviously, and nice little break here. No 7-10 split. Head pin comes across, takes the 10 out for Tom Daugherty.
Double for Daugherty. He said he was really looking forward to being a part of this awesome show. He just hoped he can stick around for a few matches, and Randy, he has.
Yeah, he's bowled really good, too.
Now Russell clean, strike spare, struck back here in the first. The 4 TV finals appearances in 2014, including a win at the PBA Bear Open on the summer swing. Strike for Russell, and Kimberly Pressler is with the 2-time PBA Player of the Year.
Thanks, Mike. Belmonte, we're used to seeing you strike a lot when it hits the pocket. Why did you not do that today?
You know, with this particular lane oil pattern, it's quite tight in the middle of the lane, so you have to see the friction at the right spot. On a couple of occasions, my ball went a little bit too far down the lane before it saw that friction. I was hoping the rev rate was going to help me out, but it didn't quite go to the pins the way I wanted to, and, you know, Tom bowled a pretty good game.
Thank you so much for your time. Guys, back to you.
6 kicks the 10, and Russell with an 11-pin lead. High, 4-pin.
Tom's just bowled real steady today. Got a couple of good breaks the last game. Went high, didn't leave the split, tripped the 4-night out against Belmonte, but other than that, he's bowled pretty solid.
Interesting release on that spare.
Just keeps his hand flat behind it, wrist broken back, uses a urethane bowling ball and throws it about as fast as you can throw it. And again, you know, I said it in the last match, I think he's a really good spare shooter, a real underrated spare shooter.
Got it.
You heard him say there, Mike. Jay said, he's, all right, make the move. You got it. Interesting, though, the last shot on that lane, he went dead flush.
Fifth frame. Light. Kingpin.
He actually got that wide, and the ball didn't get back. It almost looked like it rolled out. He's rolling it so heavy end over end. The ball just had not enough axis rotation to make it back to the head. But you could see, look at it. It's almost rolling dead end over end. You could see it rolling out right before it got to the 1-3 pocket.
5-pin conversion for Tom Daugherty. Trails by 13 pins here in the 5th. Ronnie Russell at the PBA Summer Swing on the Big Bad Bear. Russell prevails to claim the Bear Open title. And then at the World Series of Bowling in the Chameleon Championship, the 24th perfect game in PBA Tour history. Ronnie Russell earning the $10,000 from PBA Tour Commissioner Tom Clark.
Good little shot here, but the ball just finishes behind the head pin just enough to leave that shaker 10. And Ronnie Russell was looking to really take a big lead. He could have thrown a 3-bagger there and get on the left lane and throw another one for a 4-timer and would have increased that lead to 30-something. And as we take a look at Ronnie Russell's arsenal, Revolt, Vengeance. Fairly strong on the hook rating there. $12-pin lead halfway through the match.
Both players on spare 6-frame. And a 10-pin.
Ball's dead.
He said the ball's dead. What does that mean?
By the time it gets down to the pins, it's losing a little bit of energy and not driving through the pins quite as hard as he would like to get that weak 10 out. So he can either move into some more oil so the ball retains more energy, or ball down.
Oh, dang it.
And open frame missed 10-pin.
And just like that, we have a tie match, folks. Ronnie Russell steps up here and whips the 10-pin very uncharacteristically. But listen, folks, when we come back, I'll tell you something about Ronnie Russell you may not know. If you're a fan, you'll want to see this.
Semi-final action rolls on at the PBA Players Championship. Our next telecast next Sunday at 1 Eastern. It's the Mark Roth Marshall Holman PBA Doubles. Next Sunday, 1 Eastern on ESPN. Semi-final match is now even with the open frame from Russell. And Daugherty steps up, working on a spare in the 6th.
Just commit. Come on.
Strike for Daugherty. Randy, what did Tom commit to?
He just committed to the fact that he made an adjustment. And anytime you make an adjustment, you have to do it with conviction. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to execute a good shot. If there's any doubt in your mind as a player when you make a certain move, a certain adjustment, whether it's moving your feet in your target or one or the other, making a ball change, you have to be committed to it. And he was there and executed a great shot.
Double! 6 kicks the 10, 10-pin lead for Daugherty.
Yeah, had a better shot on that left lane. That ball didn't roll out and drove through the pins hard enough to kick the 10 out. You see it pick up there in the middle part of the lane and just that subtle back end reaction just enough to kick the 10 out.
6 around the 10.
Get out of the ball, Ronnie. Get out of it.
Ronnie's in trouble now. He went from being in a position to really put a lot of heat on Tom Daugherty, to trailing for the first time in the match after he missed the 10-pin in the 6th frame.
That 10-pin gets a thump from Russell, 8th frame. Russell trails by 10 pins. Can still max out at 227.
Well, he's disgusted with himself in the last couple of shots that he's thrown, but especially missing the 10-pin in the 6th frame. All the momentum just got sucked right out of him. Tom Daugherty steps up, and he did what he's been doing this entire telecast, and that's taking advantage of players' mistakes.
Double working, 8th frame. Daugherty can increase his lead with a strike. Light and the messenger. No.
Too hard.
And you heard it say it looked like it was awfully fast going down the lane, and the ball didn't have enough time to respond. You know, his back end reaction is so subtle as it is, especially on a 46-foot pattern, and that was the reason why he left the week 10. Good spare shooter. I'm going to keep saying it. Tom Daugherty looks really focused to me as well, Mike J.
The eyes never lie.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it in his face. He looks real focused. Tom Daugherty can take it off the sheet right now and shoot 226. Ronnie Russell can take it off the sheet for 227.
Carry.
Slaps the 10 out.
Well, it's Ronnie Russell time, and it's time to do it in front of the fans. He can strike out and shut out Tom Daugherty. Remember I said when we went to break that I had something to tell the folks. Well, for those Ronnie Russell fans, you know you can go to YouTube and actually see videos of Ronnie Russell playing the guitar and singing right there on YouTube.
Something called Dreams Fade Away, and Ronnie hoping dreams don't fade away here. Foundation frame.
That was a great segue, Mike.
And
Great
double.
Great shot and a great segue. This is what you live for as a professional athlete and as a professional bowler. You get the chance to perform in front of the home crowd. And Ronnie Russell is in position to do that right now. With 3 more strikes here in the 10th frame, he will shut out Tom Daugherty and advance to the title match against Parker Bohn III. Too early to get too excited. All right. One more just like it, and then we'll start to get a little excited, especially if you're in Ronnie Russell's camp. See how he's trying to calm himself down. That's the thing. Veteran players have been in this position before. They don't let themselves get too jacked up until the job is done.
In front of family and friends and college friends from Vincennes, Russell looking to seal the deal. 10th frame. 10 pin.
Oh my. What a great looking shot that was. Ronnie Russell has the lead right now. If he spares here, he will force Tom Daugherty to double. Checking the scoreboard. He wants to make sure. Right now, he needs to convert this 10-pin.
All right.
That was a really good shot, Mike J. Now all he can do is sit back and hope.
Daugherty attempting to run the ladder to get to Parker Bohn III next.
Take one more look at this vicious ringing 10 by Ronnie Russell, and 6 going around the 10-pin man. If you're a right-hander, you never like to see that.
To advance, Daugherty must strike. He got it.
You know, I think he really likes this right lane. I think he likes the right lane better than he likes the left lane, and that bodes well for Tom Daugherty, and that really makes him confident with one more strike to go here for Tom Daugherty to advance to the title match.
Daugherty all business, striking 1 for the win. Messenger, no.
It's all over. Ronnie Russell will win by at least a pin, and he's going on to bowl for the title.
That one's close.
Pretty good shot there by Daugherty, and it just a flat 10 was the undoing. Really an unbelievable turn of events. I thought for sure he was going to double. He goes strike flat 10. Ronnie Russell wins.
Ronnie Russell advances to face Hall of Famer Parker Bohn III. Title match is coming next here. Daugherty for the win. 1 fraction short. Russell advances. More coming from Indy. Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana, as the PBA Players Championship rolls on. Championship match is coming up next.
Mike, you know what time it is, Mike?
It's time for the Geico Championship recap, Randy.
Match number 1, the wee Iceman leaves that shaker 7 in the 9th frame, giving Tom Daugherty lots of room. And guess what? He walks right through that big opening, throws a great strike there in the 10th to take down Norm Duke, 225 to 212. Then in match number 2, Tom Daugherty takes on the hottest man on the planet, Jason Belmonte. Gets a great break in the 8th frame, chipping the 4-9. Belmonte throws the first strike in the 10th, leaves a ringing 10, and that's all she wrote. Daugherty takes down Belmonte, 245 to 227. Then in the match, you just saw Ronnie Russell. Great first strike in the 10th frame. He can shut out Daugherty if he goes off the sheet. It just leaves a vicious ringing 10. Now it's Tom Daugherty's turn. He needs a double. He gets the first hit, leaves a half 10. Ronnie Russell wins by 2 and will face Parker Bohn for the title.
Mike Jakubowski with Hall of Famer Randy Peterson. 2 things here, Randy. Number 1, Tom Daugherty's in rhythm. He knows the shot. Parker Bohn has a clean lane. Which way is the championship match going to go?
That's a great question. I really like Parker being the lone lefty on the left side of the lane. I think this oil pattern is tailor-made for what he likes to do, which is to go really straight from the extreme outside part of the lane. Not to jinx Ronnie, but I don't think 2-teen is going to win this title match. And again, I still feel that the scores are a lot lower than I felt that they would have been. And so I think Parker Bohn is going to give Ronnie Russell all he wants in this title match.
Ronnie Russell looking to add another title to his belt. Parker Bohn III is looking to extend his historical Hall of Fame career. Come on back to Woodland Bowl. The championship match is coming up next. It's uninterrupted from Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis. Title match at the PBA Players Championship.
PBA Players Championship rolls on at Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. Championship match coming up next. Parker Bohn III in the 2012 PBA World Championship, defeating Jason Belmonte in that title match.
That was destiny for Parker Bohn III, and who can forget how emotional he was after that win.
Qualified 24th, qualified 5th on the show, ran the ladder for the title. Bohn's last major title and last tour win. Parker Bohn III qualified and advanced through match play to the top seed standing by right now. He qualified in Milwaukee. Right now he's in Indy with Kimberly.
Thanks, Mike. Parker, how was your ball reaction today compared to when you did match play in Milwaukee?
Well, match play in Milwaukee, the ball read the lane a little bit sooner and set up a lot quicker. Here, the lane's a little bit tighter. Ball gets down the lane a little further. I can play a little bit more down lane reaction, but it definitely goes through the pins in a way that I'm comfortable.
Great to hear. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, great to hear if you're Parker Bohn III, maybe not so much if you're Ronnie Russell. You notice that this side of the lane is clean. Nobody's bowled on that side of the lane yet. We're about to see it. But look at right in here, this little track area where the power players have been playing throughout this telecast. But there's still plenty of oil on the lane. The lane breaking down excessively, not even an issue. 46 feet of oil and a lot of it.
Tinted blue, title match, Ronnie Russell, Parker Bohn III. Tournament leader indicates that Russell begins this match. Ronnie drills it, strike.
And our first look at, well, probably the third greatest left-hander of all time, or is he the second greatest left-hander of all time? You got to talk Earl Anthony, and you've got to throw Mike Albee in that mix. I guess if you go based on titles, it's Parker second all time.
Outside part of the lane and a 7-10 opener.
Well, that's the way Tom Daugherty started the last match, and ultimately he lost by 2 pins. And I don't think we touched on that fact that Tom Daugherty's pocket 7-10 open in the first frame cost him the match. He lost by 2.
Open frame for Parker Bohn III. A win would give Bohn 34 career PBA wins, tying him with Mark Roth for 5th on the all-time wins list in the PBA. Here's a look at Parker's bag.
Mastermind scholar, hooking his ball that he brought out to championship pair.
Ten back. Parker voted the 10th greatest player in PBA history back in 2009. 2-time PBA Player of the Year. Now Russell.
Parker's also got a title on the senior tour.
As do you, partner.
Thank you.
Little high 4-pin.
Come on, Ronnie.
I don't think Parker is discouraged in the least about that pocket 7-10 in the first frame. I really don't. I think he's going to get dialed in, and he's going to flush a lot of shots.
Russell corrals the 4-pin. They call him Country Boy. Here's a charter member of the Professional Bowlers Association, the great one, the professor, Carmen Salvino.
And presenting the trophy at the end of this match is Carmen, and I had the pleasure, the opportunity to win a tournament with Carmen Salvino back a few years ago when we won the Touring Players Senior Doubles in Cheektowaga, New York, just outside of Buffalo.
Little light there, 10-pin.
And again, now what happens when the lanes start to break down, the players have to move in, angles change. And when angles change, the bowling ball goes through the pins a little bit differently. Ronnie just went over and grabbed another bowling ball. I think he's going to make a ball change.
And I don't mean just on this spare shot.
Ronnie sticks the landing but gets the spare. Missed one of those earlier today. Covers that up though, fills the frame. Parker Bohn did not take the lead of this tournament until the 10th frame of the position round.
Yeah, he barely made it to the top 24 in match play. He got there by averaging over 250 the last 4 games of qualifying.
16-12, all-time as a top seed in stepladder finals. Strike working, 3rd frame. 7-10 your last time. Yes. Adjustment. What was the adjustment?
I don't think there was any adjustment, Mike. I think he just threw it good, and the ball just responded the correct way. It may have been just a pinch softer. Maybe the adrenaline was a little up in that first frame. He may have gotten just a little bit softer and given the ball time to read the lane surface. But I got to be honest with you, I think he's going to do a lot more of that.
Parker always says it's that first shot on TV. It's always a matter of trying to get it off your hand and then move along. And right now he's moving along. Double working, 4th frame.
On, Kirk.
Let's get a reset here for Parker Bohn III. Putting himself in a position to add another title to a stellar Hall of Fame career. Extreme outside part of the lane and a 7-pin, almost another 7-10.
Well, he didn't like that shot. He got a little wide, and I promise you, he's not real pleased with the execution of this shot, and he almost gets another awful break, but drives the 10 out, only leaving the 7-pin. Only trails by 1, even though he has the open frame in the first.
Russell up, spare working 4th. Slaps the 10 out. Kimberly Pressler is lane side.
Thanks, guys. Tom, you took out both Norm and Belmo with a pretty high score, but in the 3rd match, it went down a bit. What changed for you?
Well, the lanes transition a lot. I like to call it the Belmo effect. Whenever you're bowling Belmo, he's going to chop up the lanes, and once my shot went away where I was playing, I had to move into where he was playing, and I couldn't get my ball to go through the pins the right way, so it turned into a carry contest and fell 1 short.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. Guys, back to you.
Russell strike working, beer frame.
Yeah, come on!
That's the pocket.
Really good shots there by Ronnie Russell. Ronnie Russell doesn't seem to be affected by the Belmo effect. He's finding a way to get his ball to go through the pins the right way. With that being said, he's still only shooting 2-0. He left a 4-pin in the 2nd and a 10-pin in the 3rd. Parker Bohn III can get up, strike in the 5th and 6th, pull this back to a 1-pin match.
Slaps the 7 out. Strike for Parker.
Hall of Fame career and Hall of Fame shot. Used to seeing Parker do that a lot over the 30 plus years that I've been a part of the PBA tour. Just a beautiful shot. He's a guy whose style and form and delivery has not changed at all in his 30-year career. Player of the Year a couple of times out here. He's bowled 300 on television.
Yeah! Come on!
Intense. 1-pin match.
Much better shot on that lane. It was right of target where he wants it. Up the boards, direct, and jamming the 1-2.
Each player finding the pocket now. Double working for each. Parker Bohn up by a stick. 6th frame. Ronnie Russell leads by 1 and can extend here to 11. Can opener.
Nice break there, carrying all 10. And that light hit. You know, that light hit works great when the ball's coming in from a lot deeper angle, and there's a lot of angle, a lot of speed, and a lot of revolutions. That light hit is your best friend. But there's not a lot of angle being created on this 46-foot oil pattern.
So Russell leads by 11. Turkey working, can extend. Last title coming on the PBA Summer Swing. 7th frame.
Dead flush. 21 pin advantage.
Yeah, well, it's coming down to the 4th quarter, and the players are stepping up. This is championship professional bowling at its finest.
Parker mentioning that for the first time ever, he's wearing a knee brace, and it's helped him.
Yeah, he said he tweaked his knee, and knee brace helps him feel a lot more stable at the foul line. It's a guy that's always had a real good, solid, deep knee bend. I'll tell you, once your legs go in this sport, you're pretty much done. You're like a horse. You take them out to the back and
kindly show them the exit.
Yeah.
11 pin deficit for Bohn as he strikes, and he can get it right back to a single stick.
Notice how the ball's going high flush now, and that's the trademark of Parker Bohn III, playing that outside line. He can really jam it into the pocket. This form, one of the best arm swings I've ever seen in the sport. It was coached by Dave Davis way back in the day, tried to emulate the great Dave Davis's swing, and boy, Parker's just been, not only is he a great player, but he's a class act and just a great ambassador for our sport.
4-time Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award winner. Toes the line in the 8th. Yes! And he packs the pocket. It's a 1-pin match.
Can Parker at age 50 control his emotions? Excuse me, age 51. Can he control his emotions enough to perform under the pressure? You know, it gets harder the older you get. When you're young, you just don't know any better.
Russell, 8th frame. Gone! Right back. Great match. Seesaw. And the saw belongs to Russell at +11, entering the foundation frame.
Max score Ronnie Russell, 269. Max score Parker Bohn III, 258.
For sure, yeah.
If Ronnie Russell doesn't strike on this ball, Parker can get up, strike out, and shut out Ronnie Russell. Big shot coming up here in the 9th frame. Biggest shot of the week for Ronnie Russell right here.
Hometown crowd holds their breath. Ronnie Russell is up in the 9th.
Little high.
Avoids the 4.79.
Ooh. The stage is set for 51-year-old Parker Bohn III. Can he step up one more time, strike out in the 9th and 10th frame, and shut out Ronnie Russell and tie himself with 34 titles, the great Mark Roth. 5th on the all-time win list.
That was a good one.
If he can strike out 9th and 10th frame.
Parker Bohn foundation frame and a strike to take the lead here. Title match, PBA Players Championship.
Seven pin. Jesus. Lost it again off the hand there.
And you heard Parker just say, come on, get it off your hand. And something looked different to me right at the finish. Watch this follow through. Just looked like he kind of grabbed it just a little bit. Parker can strike out for 237. Ronnie Russell can go strike spare for 237. Whatever Parker does in the 10th frame, Ronnie Russell has to do to win.
If it's for a PBA Tour title, it comes down to the 10th frame. Parker Bohn.
How big is that pocket 7-10 for Parker Bohn in the first frame? I mean, that's the difference in the match. If Parker struck there, he's leading this. 7-10 split in the first, 7-pin in the fourth, 7-pin in the ninth for the PBA Players Championship title on the line right here. Parker Bohn the third, Ronnie Russell, 10th frame. Great shot. Got to have the next one. The next one is huge. It forces Ronnie Russell to double. We have the possibility of a tie. But this is the biggie right here. Well, I mean, that last shot was just as big as anything, but
Pure.
He's got to get 10 here.
Great Hall of Fame career. You don't know how many opportunities you have like this, and you're in the thick of it. And with a win, you would tie Mark Roth, Phil Ball, for 237. .237 for Parker Bohn the third.
Russell needs a double and one pin. Anything less, Parker Bohn's your winner. What a great performance by 51-year-old Parker Bohn the third. It's hard not to have a lot of respect for that man. Now it's Ronnie Russell's time. He's had a phenomenal last season. He's been bowling great this season. 2 strikes, 1 pin to win.
Strike and any spare. It's a tie. That's the strike.
One more, baby. One more.
Lonely feeling when you're sitting on the bench watching your opponent and you can't do anything about it. It's not like you can run out there and tackle him. Beautiful shot here by Ronnie Russell. Puts a great touch on this, and 10 in the pit. 1 more strike and 1 pin. Ronnie Russell is going to win title number 3 in front of the home crowd.
Anything less than a strike. Parker Bohn still alive for the win. .10 pin.
He's got to make it for a tie. He missed one the previous match against Tom Daugherty. That ball pushed longer down the lane, came in late, leaving that shaker 10. He makes this, we go to extra frames.
.237. There will be a roll-off for the PBA Players Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, by PBA rule, this game must be decided by a 1-ball sudden death roll-off. The higher seed, Parker Bohn III, will have choice of lane and starting order. Parker? And you're going to start? Parker Bohn is elected to start the roll-off on the left lane. Each player will bowl in the same lane. They'll alternate back and forth until the tie is broken. Good luck, gentlemen.
PBA Deputy Commissioner Kirk von Kruger, and Parker Bohn will begin on the left lane.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. A title match coming down to a sudden death roll-off.
1-ball roll-off for a PBA Tour title.
Parker's only missed 1 time on this left lane. Probably why he chose to start on this lane.
For Parker Bohn III. Russell must strike or it's over.
Just an amazing guy. Now it's Russell's turn.
Good one.
Well, he got a mitt full, got that one in the oil a little bit and pushed down the lane and just went about as high flush as you could get without leaving a solid 9. Great shot here by Ronnie Russell. You can see he's still migrating left. That was over 4th arrow, went out to about the 13th or 14th board. Parker's turn now on the right lane, Mike.
Order of play remains the same. 1 ball, second round of the roll-off.
Boy, the 4-pin went to the sidewall and just kicked the 7-pin in the face. Watch this, man. Great pin action here. Boom. Shakalaka. Bamalama.
Ding dong. Russell must strike to extend the roll-off. Parker Bohn is the PBA Players Championship winner. He moves into a tie with Mark Roth with 34 titles. Great game.
Pretty hard not to be happy for that man. Great performance by Ronnie Russell and an unbelievable performance by Parker Bohn III at age 51.
That's guts.
Parker Bohn III, a champion once again. Ronnie Russell to extend the roll-off. No, Parker Bohn wins, and we'll talk to it next when we return to Woodland Bowl. The PBA Players Championship is brought to you by AMF. Roll this way. By the USBC, a future for the sport. By Rotogrip, your time is now. Own it. And by HotelPlanner.com, the best place to book hotel rooms. Best rooms, best rate, guaranteed. PBA Players Championship at Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. 2:37 tie, 2 frames of roll-off. Parker Bohn III claims the title. Just a few moments ago, Randy Peterson caught up with Ronnie Russell.
Well, Ronnie, it was a magnificent performance. Take us through the last couple of shots of that match against Parker.
You know, the first one I got up there and took a deep breath and made a really good shot, and then you know, I didn't have much going through my head on the second shot. I just wanted to concentrate on throwing a good shot, and I got up there and, you know, kind of grabbed it at the bottom a little bit, and I hung in it, lofted it, and it went an extra foot down the lane. So.
Even in defeat, explain what this experience was like for you bowling in front of family and friends here in Indianapolis.
It's an awesome experience. You know, it's the second time I've done it in front of my family and friends, and it's the second time I've gotten second, too, so it's kind of heartbreaking, but.
Ronnie, thanks very much for your time.
Ronnie Russell finishes second. Parker Bohn, for the 34th time, picks up a strike in the second frame of overtime and claims the title. He stands by now with Kimberly Pressler.
Thanks, Mike. I'm also here with Hall of Famer Carmen Salvino, who's going to give the trophy presentation to Parker.
Great bowling, Parker.
Thanks, Carmen.
Great clutch bowling. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, now let's talk to the winner here. Look at this beautiful family. Leslie, his wife, joins him. A very emotional day for you, but Ronnie was not going to go down without a fight. What was going through your mind when you knew you had to go into that roll-off?
Well, once we went into the roll-off, you know, Ronnie's a great player. He's proven that over the last couple of years especially, but you just got to keep drilling the pocket and hope that they all fall over. And fortunately for me, that mastermind scholar did the job, and that's what's allowing me to stand tall here right now.
This is your 34th title. What does that mean to you?
You know why? Honestly, from my heart, it means a tremendous for the fact that I don't know if the great Mark Roth is here right now, but When I first met Mark, I was 16 years old, and I had no idea I could be standing in the same shoes as him with 34 titles. So, Mark, this one's for you, buddy. Thanks for allowing me to share.
Congratulations, Parker, on your win today.
Speaking of Mark Roth, coming up next Sunday on ESPN at 1 Eastern, it's the Mark Roth Marshall Holman PBA doubles on ESPN. The PBA Players Championship reaches an historic conclusion as Parker Bohn III claims the title and ties Mark Roth all-time with 34 titles. For Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler, this is Mike Jakubowski. Roth Holman doubles next Sunday on ESPN.